Howdy, howdy, howdy. Again. I don't know if that's going to be the intro for every episode. It's been the intro for a couple of them now, but we'll see how far that goes. Welcome, everybody, to the third week of NHL Weekly. The 2022-2023 season is firmly underway now. We've got a couple teams that have played 10 games. I think it's only about 4 or 5, I believe. The Sharks being the first to reach that 10-game milestone or mark for the season. That's going to bring up a couple things in our news section, as well as just kind of, give me 1 second, I'm going to do that very quick. Okay, so, but again, week 3, we're here, we're doing it. We are a day and 4 hours late, as time of recording from even uploading the video. It is Sunday the 30th, technically. We're pretending like it's the 29th of October when it's actually the 30th. If you watched the JMO show a couple days ago, you'll know that I am absolutely miserable right now with probably the worst case of the flu I've ever had since early 2020 before COVID was even a thing. So... Excuse me, bear with me as I try my best to make sure that I give out the quality that I usually don't give out, as well as entertain you guys with some of just the most riveting stats possible. And with that, we're going to get into the news. Couple quick things. We had a suggestion in the comments from Zachary Smith. Thank you very much, Zachary. Asking if we could start calculating the last 10 games stats as well as some other smaller stuff, and the answer is we've always planned on doing that. We just haven't played 10 games yet. So the one thing that I will say is that while I do have some of the stats pulled up for back up for just a second. We're only going to the 28th because we go from Saturday to Friday because I record before the first game on that next Saturday. So the only team to officially have 10 games in the book is San Jose as the time, not as of the time recording this, but as the time of calculating the numbers, that being San Jose. And if I count real quick, 1, 2, 3, they are 3-7-0. Not the best first calculation of a 10-game spread, but one thing I did want to show everybody today was some of the new features we've got in the stats charts. Unfortunately, I do not have that other page that I usually will shoot over to, where I'm the small one over here, and then there's a big old stats thing on the other side. I don't have that today because I did not have the ability to get that set up in time. I'm so sorry for the coughing. Wow. So that is the first piece of news. Second piece of news, I was going to put out a first career season episode for the first round draft picks, but Slavkovsky got injured after he scored his first goal, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I can put it on the back burner, maybe do it after his first assist, because I was sick at the time when he scored his first goal and when he got injured. So he is back. I did see him play last night, so I know he is back. So one thing that I was considering was possibly midway through the season, maybe doing like a midway through their first season thing, if I'm able to even find that data. As we are in the news section, one thing that I will preface is that I have a Eternal tab open that has the CBS Sports, the CBS Sports EnCHockey, the official NHL page, as well as Cap Friendly and Hockey Reference all up. So if you're curious where I get all these stats and information from, it is officially from the NHL for most things, but if I need the more niche stuff, I go to Hockey Reference or the Quantum, or the Quant, what is the official name of that one? Quant Hockey, or the CBS one. The CBS one is one of my favorites because if you click on their website, if you have ad blockers, they go, whoa, wait, you can't go on this site because there's active things going on, and active things are scary. But the whole reason for that active format, literally like taking notes in real time, this website is. So it's literally showing you this is real time. There's not going to be any lag at all with these stats. You could be watching a game live, and if a team scores a goal, they're going to show you this team scored a goal, because that's how fast it all is. But we are already 6 minutes in, almost 7 full minutes in. I have not talked about a single stat yet, so let's get into it. Unfortunately, you're just going to be looking at my face today, as I do not have the other one up. Now, if I do a quick scan, the Boston Bruins won Week 3 pretty decisively with a 4-0 record. We've also got a couple teams with 6 points apiece: Edmonton Oilers, the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Winnipeg Jets, all with at least 3 wins, and then a couple losses in there for some of them. I believe all 3 of them were 3-1-0. So all 3 of those teams doing very good. Some of those teams getting back into the groove of things after having a pretty rough outing. The definitive the definitive loser of Week 3 is the Anaheim Ducks with 0-3-0. St. Louis not far behind, 1-3-0. And then we do have one team that only scored one point in an overtime / shootout loss. That would be the New York Rangers, 0-2-1. Yeah, not excellent for those teams. So if we take all that information and we plug it into our nifty little information grabber that we got on this spreadsheet, we've got the Atlantic Division. At the top of the Atlantic is Boston, Florida, and Toronto. And then Buffalo, Ontario, Detroit, Tampa, and Montreal. And then in the Metropolitan, we have Philadelphia. Don't ask me how that happened. New Jersey, another what the heck, and Carolina. And then Pittsburgh, New York, Islanders, Washington, Capitals, Rangers, and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Really feeling good about switching out Columbus and New York Islanders for the final wild card spot in the East. Columbus not doing great right now. And if we just take that small snippet into consideration, 99% of the people that I saw posting their predictions for the season on YouTube, on the internet, whatever, had had Philadelphia at the bottom. They are currently in the inverse of that, in first place. And on top of that, if we take a quick look, they're 5th overall in the league. 5th overall in the league. Crazy. Dallas, Winnipeg, and Columbus top the Central, with Chicago another shocker. The other shocker that I will say is Buffalo ahead of Toronto. You've got it right now. The closeness is really what a lot of people are looking for. When I say closeness, I mean like in points. So you have teams like Boston, or Vegas, who are kind of pulling ahead currently, but the spread from all the other teams is 16-14 for Boston and Vegas, 11 for Dallas, and then Philadelphia, New Jersey, Winnipeg, Calgary, and Edmonton in the Pacific, who we haven't gotten to. All 5 of those guys with 10, and then everybody else is between 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, and then you've got Anaheim with 3 at the bottom. So if you lose a solitary game, you are probably going from take either Florida or Toronto. In the Atlantic Division, for example, they have 9 points apiece. Everybody else below them, Buffalo, Ontario, Detroit, Tampa, and Montreal, all have 8. If they lose one game, Florida or Toronto, it's almost a guarantee that one of those other 5 teams will get at least one win to swap places with them. Now they have to get a win just to flip back and forth, and that's really what a lot of people are hoping that we get throughout the entire season, is that back and forth, because we really don't want to get to the halfway point of the season or to January or in a month from now and have the teams that are going into the playoffs and the teams that are not. It just becomes an incredibly mundane, I would say, not necessarily boring, because all hockey games are fun, but when you're playing a completely meaningless game, it gets tiresome. It gets a little boring. So, anyways, to finish out the West, we've got Chicago, Minnesota, Nashville, St. Louis, and Arizona, right where they're supposed to be, at the bottom of the Central. And then in the Pacific, we've got Vegas, Calgary, and Edmonton. And then we've got Seattle, LA Kings, Vancouver, San Jose, and Anaheim. I really, really have to sneeze. My nose is going crazy. If I do end up sneezing, I'll try to mute the microphone right before I do it. But until then, I'm going crazy. But the one thing I will say is that it's very impressive, almost, that Vancouver has played 9 games, 2-5-2, and have a better record than Anaheim, 1-6-1, for a total of 3 points in 8 games. That is abysmal. That is awful. Enough dunking on Anaheim for now. But we're going to move over to the wild card, take all that information, you squash the 2 divisions together, you get the wild card. Got Boston, Florida, Toronto, Philadelphia, New Jersey, and Carolina at the top. Then you've got Pittsburgh and Buffalo taking those first 2 wild card spots. And then you've got Ottawa, Detroit, New York Islanders, Washington, Tampa Bay, Montreal, New York Rangers, and Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, one thing I will preface again. You've got Pittsburgh with 9, and then from Buffalo, that entire list I just read off, from Buffalo all the way down to the New York Rangers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams. 8 teams, including one in the wild card spot, are all tied at 8 points. 3 of them with 7 games apiece, and 5 of them with 8 games apiece. Then you have Columbus with only 6. Well, with 6 points, they're still in it. But they've played 9 games, so it's going to be a little harder for them to. If you are below another team and you played more games, you have to guarantee that team at the very least lose the amount of games that you are behind on. So if you're 1 game behind, it is a guarantee that team has to lose at least 1 game for you to even tie with them. So being behind in points and in games played is really, really rough to come back from. But like I said, 8 teams with 8 points, and everybody else is completely reachable. 1 win for the team with 8 points, and 1 loss for any of the teams with 9 or 10 points, and it's an immediate swap. And that's why I absolutely love looking at these stats every day almost, just because it's always just fun to look and be like, holy crap, I didn't realize that Toronto was able to get back to where they were, because they were in like 7th or 8th place a day ago, and now they're not. In the Central, we've got Dallas, Winnipeg, Colorado, Vegas, Calgary, and Edmonton at the top. And then for the wild card, we have Chicago and Seattle. 2 of the 3 teams, Chicago and Seattle, I would say, are maybe number 2 at the bottom, so 7th place for most predictions, because a lot of people have San Jose and Arizona right at the bottom. But so it is actually pretty surprising to see those teams. Sorry, I'm looking for something. Okay, so we've Seattle, San Jose are in the same Pacific Division, and then Chicago and Arizona are in the same division. And then on the bottom of wild card, beyond the two wild card spots, LA, Minnesota, Nashville, St. Louis, Vancouver, San Jose, Arizona, and then Anaheim. So, looking at that parity again in the West really quick, you got 14, 11, and 10 points apiece for Vegas, Dallas, and then Calgary, Edmonton, and Winnipeg. A lot of great representation for Canadian teams in the West, I gotta say. Looking up quick at the East, we only have one team in all 8 spots between the regular division spots and the 2 wildcard spots, and then right below it is Ontario, and then Montreal at the bottom. And then you've got Vancouver at the bottom in the West. So take those divisions then, smash them both together, and you get the entire league. We have Boston at the top with 16, Vegas with 14, and Dallas with 11. We've got, 5 teams with 10 points apiece, another 5 with 9, a lot of teams with 8, 2 with 7, bunch of 6s, and then Arizona and Anaheim firmly at the bottom. Looking at the steepest plus-minus ranking, not plus-minus ranking, but ranking them. So, for instance, Boston was below Vegas last week. Vegas is now below Boston this week, so they swapped by 1. Biggest differential this week, as I can see it, is the New York Rangers going down 17 spots. We've got Winnipeg, New Jersey, and Edmonton scooting up 16, 15, and 14 spots. And then we've got Colorado also going up 13 spots. Can you imagine week 2 of the series? Let's just look at Colorado for a second. Week 1, Colorado 17th. Week 2, Colorado, where did they go? 16th. And then and then Colorado is now, where in the world did they go? I'm losing my mind. Where did... Sometimes it's really difficult to... That is not correct. They did not go up 13 spots. They only went up 3 spots. I'm gonna... 3. Not 13. Not 13 spots. I think I did the same thing. Yeah, I did the same thing a week previous. That's funny. Well, anyways, so the next one we're gonna look at is the individual stats for week 3. Anybody want to take a guess who's got the most goals so far this season? Anybody? Yes, you, sir. Connor McDavid. Yeah, he did have 2 hat tricks already this year, so yeah, he's going to be at the top with 8. Absolutely insane. 2 hat tricks already, and he's 8 games in. He's already 8-8. He's at a one goal per game average. He's almost at 2 points per game average already. Obviously, have to assume that's gonna kind of go down a little bit as the season goes on, but it is Connor McDavid, so it's not something that we can necessarily bank all our money on. We've got Nichushkin, Pasternak, Stamkos, and Svechnikov with 7 goals apiece, and then Bo Horvat, Mark Scheifele, Alex Tuch, Gabriel Valadry, all with 6, and then a bunch of people with 5, and then a couple people with 4. Now, if we look at where they were last week, Connor was at 3rd, Nichushkin was at 4th, and Pasternak was unranked. He is the highest landing unranked this week. Going down, 2 assists. We've got Draisaitl. 8 games, played 11 assists. Insane. Leon Draisaitl with 11 assists. Jesper Bratt, David Pastrnak with 10. We've got Matthew Barzal, Kevin Hayes, and Nikita Kucherov with 8. Morrissey and Panarin with, those first 3 were 9. Morrissey and Panarin are 8. And then a bunch of people with 6. Bunch of people with 7 points. Highest move was Matthew Barzal going up 19 spots, and Josh Morrissey being unranked, moving up to 7th. Take the assists, take the goals, you smash them together. You've got David Pastrnak at the top of the points at the top of the points leaderboard with 17 points in 9 games, almost 1 point below a point per game. Draisaitl in second with 15, tied with Connor McDavid. Not shocking. They both have 15. Again, not shocking at all for those two. Jesper Bratt with 13. Nichushkin and Panarin with 12, and then a couple people, Sidney Crosby, Kucherov, Nugent Hopkins, and Zuccarello with 11. Zuccarello with 11, and then a bunch of people with 10, a bunch of people with 9. Biggest jump would be 11 spots for Jesper Bratt, and then the highest unranked would be Ryan Nugent Hopkins, going from unranked to 9th place. If we go to our goalies section over here, we've got Jake Ottinger moving up 1 place to number 1. 6 games played, 6 starts, 1 shutout, a 1.17 against goals against average. Stuart Skinner, 1.44 goals against average. Logan Thompson with 2 shutouts already this season, 1.69 goals against average, and then a bunch of other goalies. And then what is interesting to me, at least, is that Vegas has 2 goalies in the top 10 for goals against average, and if I take a quick gander, they are both in the saves percentage as well. Jake Ottinger, Stuart Skinner, Carter Hart, Linus Ullmark, and Logan Thompson topping the saves percentage. The highest jump for those 2 stats, the goals against and the saves percentage, we've got 2 unranked in Linus Ullmark and Jordan Binnington, and then for Jordan Binnington, also unranked, moving up to 6th in the saves percentage. Going over to our points for and against in the league. And this was the, unfortunately, for some reason, the work that I had done is not there for the plus or the plus or minus in the rankings. But what we do have is the regular old stats. So let's go with that. Boston at the top, 9 games played, 38 goals, 57 assists for 95 points. Ridiculous. We got Pittsburgh with 85, Edmonton and LA with 84. Where are my tissues? Sorry about that. I'm not going to blow my nose on camera. I'm just going to hold back a little bit until I can get through this. The last 2 with at least 80 points for is Seattle and Vegas. So if you're wondering why Seattle's doing so good, it's probably because they're at the bottom of the list they're at the top of the list for points for. The only issue is they have given up 89 points against, which is not great. Topping the points against, obviously the top of the ranking there, this is something I keep forgetting to mention. Top of the ranking for points against is going to be the least points against. Bottom, obviously, is the person with the most points against. Take, for instance, the one at the top and the bottom. Top of the list, Dallas Stars with 40 points against. LA Kings, 32nd, 103 points against. 63 points more than Dallas has given up this season already. Not a great stat to start off the season with for LA, but to each their own, I guess, for that. With that, I will say that this coming week we will have actually let me just double check before I promise anything. So we should be recording and putting out the episode on Saturday the 5th. I do know we do have some teams that would not have played their 10th game yet. Actually, technically, only 2 teams will have not played 10 games yet, and that would be the Calgary Flames and the St. Louis Blues. So those 2 teams, the party poopers that are going to keep us still from not getting you the 10-game spread statistic that I've got, where every 10 games I'm going to let you know who was the top of that specific spread. And then obviously the final one is going to show like that final stretch of 10 games is really going to show who's ready for the playoffs of the teams that are in the playoffs. And then that final the 81st and 82nd games, I'm not gonna necessarily cover them because I'm going to be doing an end of season review. Hopefully, we're hoping to survive to the end of this season at the very least. But with that, I'm going to say that we're pretty much wrapped up here, and I don't really have anything else to say for you guys today other than to like, share, subscribe, comment with anything you guys want to see in the future. And the one thing that I was going to do was going to pick out some music for the end here, but I forgot. So instead, we're going to listen to the dulcet tones of Complete Silence as I bid you a farewell, and I will see you again soon. Bye.